In the locker room after the game, you can see it on the guys' faces. They weren't happy with the point, and that's a good sign. It shows that this group is highly motivated to win games and have high expectations for their performance. Looking at the game, very difficult game. Jamaica was a very direct team. The conditions made it challenging, but all in all, really proud of the way the guys hung in there, proud of the way the guys battled. And closing out this window with 4 points, averaging 2 points per game, is pretty good. We'll end up this window either in first or second, and that was our objective of the window. So, we'll look at the tape for things we can improve, but overall, really proud of the effort of the team.
Thanks, Greg. We'll go to questions and begin with Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Thanks so much, Michael. Greg, I wonder from your perspective just how much a goal like that Antonio scored can suck the energy out of a team, and did you feel like it disrupted the way the game was going, the way your team was playing? And then secondly, if you could pull back and just over the first 3 windows, how do you feel this team has grown and progressed through qualification? Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those goals where really you just turn around and clap your hands and say, amazing goal, amazing individual effort. And you can't do much about that. Up until then, there was really nothing that was threatening us. And it gave Jamaica a little boost, to be fair. And I think, we battled back. I think we got control in the second half. They had to make some subs, and their subs helped them. But overall, a very disruptive game because of the direct play of Jamaica. It turned into a first ball and second ball game, and I think the guys did okay managing through it. Again, it was a great experience for our team to go through that, and you can see the guys were disappointed. When I look at the qualification as a whole, I think we made progress.
Can you hear me okay, Greg?
I can.
Sorry about that. I guess I wanted to get your sense of Tim Weah's goal, and then did Tim kind of get tired out in the second half, and what happened with that?
Great goal. Great individual effort by Tim. Really good effort by Brendan to press after we lost, won the ball in their defensive third, and then Timmy went from there and took over. A really good goal. What we saw, he started to fatigue. And his numbers were starting to diminish, and we needed a boost, so we decided to take him off. Timmy's played a great window. The game against Mexico was a very good performance. I thought today was a good performance also. And just looking when he ran out of gas, it was time to make a change.
Next will be Kevin Baxter from the LA Times.
Sorry about that. Hey, Greg, thanks for your time.
Hey, Kevin.
You have a little bit of a break now, 2 months. Guys probably need that to refresh and everything, but what are you telling them going into this break? I know it was a disappointing result today, but when you look at where you are, is there positives that they're going to take with them into the break? Is there frustration? How do you handle that? Thank you.
Listen, we're not looking at it as a disappointing result. We're looking at it as a good result. Anytime you can get a point away from home is a good thing in CONCACAF qualifying, and I want to be very clear by saying that. I think, for the guys to have their heads down because we wanted more is completely natural, but this is a point that we'll absolutely take on the road. What we'll do is we'll evaluate. We get back in camp in about 2 weeks from now. A little over 2 weeks, we're back in camp. We play Bosnia, and then we have a little bit of a break, and then we're back in camp again in January. So it's, there's not a lot of rest for us. The message to the guys was, again, we wanted to end in first or second position this window, and we're in position to do that. We're going to do that. So that's positive. And now we have 6 games left, 2 windows, and that's where we want to, hopefully seal the qualification.
Next will be Jeff Carlisle from ESPN FC.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Jeff.
You guys didn't seem to be as effective on the wings as you were against Mexico. Why do you think that was? And you talked about the physicality that Jamaica brought. How did you think the 3 central midfielders coped with that?
It was difficult conditions, Jeff. It really was. Controlling the ball, playing the ball was challenging, and it's you can chalk it up to simply that. It was a challenging field conditions, and the movements weren't always clean, and that's something that you can't control. In terms of the midfield group, I think the guys battled. Again, it was not an easy game. If you look at the amount of long balls Jamaica played, it became a battle for second ball, and it's not always easy when you're turning back towards your goal and then have to win a second ball. But there was a moment in the second half where we started to get much better control of the game, really moving them around and tiring them out, and a lot of that had to do with our midfield and their effectiveness.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, Greg. When you saw the disallowed goal in the 87th minute, do you wonder, like, especially on the road, if you get that call so many times?
I mean, he called it really early, so I was pretty, it seemed like he was pretty confident of the call. And, we've had this referee 3 times already. I think he's a good referee. I thought, there was a couple hard challenges today that, I think maybe yellow is the right thing, perhaps maybe red on one of them. But, it's difficult. It really is difficult. And, he called the whistle, he blew the whistle early, and that was a relief.
Next will be Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
What do you like about where this team is headed? You've talked a lot about growing and learning and building and responding or trying to build momentum after a good victory, such as the other day. What do you think?
I think we're on the right track. We're basically, having to get the guys experience on the fly. We're playing an Olympic age team. The average age again was Olympic eligible, 22.3 maybe. And, it's really learning as you go. And the guys have done a great job adapting to that. We've had very strong home performances. We've gotten 5 points on the road already in 4 games. And, we're on the right track. We'll use the spring of 22, the winter and spring of 22 to hopefully get qualification. But the guys have been great. When I look at the year, Stephen, 21 in general, 2021, we lifted 2 trophies. We're in position where we want to be in World Cup qualifying. We've won 16 games already. The guys have done a great job. It's all down to them and their commitment to the program.
2 points of information. The average age for tonight's lineup, 22 years, 341 days. The USMNT's second youngest starting 11 in World Cup qualifying, coming after the lineup that began in the 2-1 win against Costa Rica, which was 22 years, 61 days. The 16 wins in the calendar year ties the most in U.S. men's national team history with the record in 2013. Next, we'll go to Sam Stejskal.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Greg.
Yes,
Greg, yesterday you said that the Christian decision was up in the air in terms of whether or not he was going to be in the 11 or not. What went into the decision to not start him and bring him off the bench?
He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to start the game. There was a little bit of gamesmanship yesterday, obviously, with Jamaica and, them having to prepare, not prepared. But he's working his way back, man. And, we wanted to be careful with him in this window. We want to take the big picture into consideration. And, he's doing well, and we want to continue that trend to get him back to full fitness.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Greg. I just want to go back to Paul Tenorio's second question. Just looking back at the first 3 windows and your sort of assessment overall. Thank you.
Yeah, the first window was a major learning experience for us in terms of how to mentally prepare for these 3 games and get through the travel and the whole everything. We needed that window, and we got 5 points, went undefeated, but we dipped below 2 points per game. And then the next 2 windows, we maintained the 2 points per game ratio, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. When you think about the youth of this group, the inexperience of this group in CONCACAF qualifying, we're on the right track. And I was just thinking about it on the way home. You don't often get where, you're in a qualifying competition and in one venue, it's freezing cold, and the next venue is tropical climate. This like most continents when they have qualifying, the weather's consistent. So we're going through a lot here, man, and we're learning on the fly, and the guys have done a good job of that. We'll take our position right now and focus on 2022.
Next will be Daniel Nora from Univision.
Thank you, Michael. Greg, if you have to pick a word to describe these first 8 games in the road to Qatar, what it will be and why?
Oh, Daniel, it's such hard questions, man. It's post-game here. You should give me some easy ones. What word would I pick? I think resilient is a really good word. The guys have, a lot of these guys are logging big miles to get into camp. There's ups and downs of qualifying. We talk about the roller coaster that it is, but we just kept slowly and steadily climbing. Been happy with most of the home performances, or the late home performances. We've done really well. Our road record is pretty much like expected. We would have loved to have that 1 point in Panama, but we've been resilient, and this group has character, and it's a really fun group to work with, and we're on the right track.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Yeah, hey Michael, hey Greg, thanks Michael. Greg, you mentioned the field earlier. I was just wondering, is that something that you anticipate and kind of factor in when you devise a game plan for an away match like this? Or is it something that you feel you kind of just really have to adjust to on the fly and see how the ball is moving and how the players are handling it?
Well, the conditions change, right? As you're playing on that field more, it turns and it gets really choppy, and then you have to try to get the ball out of tight areas. It becomes challenging. You saw it today. Our passing percentage was down a good bit. Jamaica's was extremely low in the game. So it's just the conditions. Both teams had to deal with it, and we chose slightly different ways to go about it. We wanted to keep the ball on the ground, move the ball side to side, and get behind them. And Jamaica chose to play very direct and relied on first balls and second balls. And I got to say, Chris Richards and Walker did a really good job dealing with Antonio and what came their way. And the entire back line, it was not an easy game with that volume of long balls.
Next will be Michael DeCourcy from Sporting News.
Yeah, you've talked, Greg, several times about the field. It seemed as if Yunus had a lot of trouble with that in particular.
Yeah.
Was that a factor for him, why he didn't drive the ball forward as much as he did on Friday night in Cincy?
I think so. Yunus was a little bit under the weather. He came down with strep throat, and we could tell that was taking a toll on him. We weren't sure exactly when to take him out of the game. We were thinking about halftime. But, again, I don't want this to be, Michael, I don't want this to be about the field. I really don't. It was the same for both teams. And, we had enough time to be moving the ball. It was difficult, but we did have enough time. And it's just something you have to deal with. And we're used to dealing with that. It is what it is.
We'll take 2 more questions for Greg. First, Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey, Greg, I wanted to ask about Ricardo Pepi this window because he had to do some different things over these last 2 games. The first 2 windows were obviously about scoring, but in these ones he had to track back more. He had to do hold-up play. He had to, he had an assist today. What did you think about his performances this window, and what are sort of the things that you hope that he learned from these 2 experiences?
He added he showed us a different dimension to his game this camp, especially with the hold-up play. He's very good linking up, really soft feet. His defensive pressure work rate has really improved, and that's at a high level now. And, he was a little bit unlucky. There was a chance against Mexico. We thought he could have, probably scored, and he would probably want back. And, today we didn't get enough deep penetration on the wings to give him enough service. But overall, really happy with Ricardo in this window. And, he showed that he's a class player.
Last question goes to Claudio Villalobos.
Thank you, Michael. Greg, you already mentioned some about the great job that the 2 central defenders did, Richards and Zimmerman there. I was just curious, could you elaborate on how difficult it is for many of us who actually never faced a guy like Antonio to actually take advantage on him, he's a great player. I mean, look at the goal he scored. But, really, between Zimmerman and Richards, they pretty much took care of him. How did you enjoy that, looking at inside from outside?
It was one big moment, right? His goal was a big moment in the game. But, we all watch Michael Antonio every week in the Premier League, right? And he's dominating in the Premier League. Extremely strong striker, good on the turn, very physical. If you go, if you make contact with him, the chances are you're not going to win those duels when he's backing into you. But our guys prepared really well. We had a good game plan of how to deal with them, and they executed it. You know, between Chris and Walker, they did an excellent job on them. They knew when they can go in. They knew to really be attacking the aerial duels. And overall, you know, it was a great learning experience for them. The whole back line, you know, don't forget about Leon Bailey. Don't forget about Jimenez, Tecatito, you know, Lozano. You know, we faced some good competition this round with their attacking group, and our back line held up well.